Now, last week saw the launch of the very first cash lifetime ISA, offering people who save £4,000 a year an additional £1,000 from the government annually, well, provided they fulfil a certain criteria.
Well, so how do they work? And should you get one? Martin Lewis is here with the answers to those. What is it?
OK, well, this launched in April, and it was a damp squib, frankly, because only investment companies offered it, and what most people who are buying a house for the first time want is somewhere safe to put their money and save for it so they can have it towards their deposit. But last week, Skipton Building Society provided the first cash LISA, which is a savings account LISA. So let me run through the 5 key things you need to know about LISAs before we even get anywhere. The first thing, it's a tax-free savings account. That's what it is. It's somewhere you can save your money tax-free, and you can put up to £4,000 a year. But the big difference is there's a 25% bonus added on everything you contribute by the state. So that means if you put £1,000 in, you've got £1,250. If you put the maximum £4,000 in a year, you've got £5,000, and you can put £4,000 in a year and the bonus would be added each year. So if you're saving for 5 years, putting the maximum in, that's £5,000 bonus added towards your saving. Now, it has to be used by a first-time buyer towards a residential mortgage. People always say, what is a first-time buyer? I once had, 10 years ago, I owned part-owned... You're not a first-time buyer. If you were left one in an inheritance, you're not a first-time buyer. You must have never owned a property before, and this must be towards a residential mortgage. Any type, doesn't matter what type of mortgage, doesn't matter what type of property, that it has to be worth less than £450,000.
It could also be used for retirement savings. Yeah.
The alternative thing that you can use this for is you'll get the money age 60 and you can take it out. So later life savings as an alternative for a pension. I'm not as big a fan on that. I'll explain why a little bit later on. If you want to use it for any other reason, you can withdraw your money no problem until April 2018. After that, there's a penalty. The penalty's complicated. I'm not going to go into it for you. All I'm going to say is, for every 100 quid you put in, after the penalty and the bonus, and the way they've all worked out, you'd take 94 out. So you'd lose £6 per 100, you'd lose 6%. So you should really only be putting money in here to use as a first-time buyer or to use for your retirement. I mean, there is what this is really about is if you put money in as a first-time buyer and something happened and you said you wouldn't do it, you can at least get access to your cash. It's not totally locked away, but you would take a hit on doing so.
So it's 18 to 40, is it?
Yeah, you've got to be aged 18 to open one up to the age of 40. That's 40 before 40 on the day you open it. So if you're 40 tomorrow, you need to open it today. Otherwise, you miss it.
You won't qualify.
But if you open it today, then you can continue working it absolutely as you like, and the bonus is paid until you're 50.
So who's offering? Do you call it? Is it a LISA?
Well, there's been much debate over this because it could be a LISA, but it's an ISA, so I'm calling it a LISA. And you say, do I call? No one said this. I'm the only person, because I'm the only person talking about is this on the telly. So we're going to call it a LISA.
A LISA.
Okay, it's a LISA. It's a LISA. Everybody use the word LISA, not Lisa. Lisa. Right. So with the LISA. Hargreaves Lansdown, Nutmeg and the Share Centre have all been offering them since April. Now, they're stocks and shares providers, which means you put money in and hope it grows quickly, but the potential that you can lose money. If you're saving for your retirement, that's not a bad deal, because you've got a long time in the hopes that it will grow quickly. First-time buyers, though, should generally be looking for savings, and there haven't been one. And Skipton Building Society has finally done it. It's an online account. It's a minimum of £1, and the interest rate is just 0.5%. Now, funny, I got a tweet just before I come on here saying, I don't know, should I open this? The interest rate's pathetic. Well, actually, all interest rates are pretty low at the moment. But the important thing to remember is you're not doing this for the interest rate. You're doing this for that 25% you get on top.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like that out there.
Yeah.
Skipton are the only one offering it. Most banks and building societies say they won't be offering it. There are only 3 potential mores who make them on the market. The reason why is because they're all worried about a mis-selling claim on pensions, which I'll come to later. So they just don't want to put it out there. How long this will survive as a product, I don't know. But if you put the money in now, you'll get the bonus. If it lasts 3 or 4 years and you're getting an extra £1,000 added on top of your house, they won't be closing it afterwards, almost certainly. So I still think it's a good thing to do.
So you say everyone should put a quid in?
I think every under 40 who's never bought a house should be putting £1 in now, and be putting £1 in as soon as possible. The reason for that, and this is really important, unlike the Help to Buy ISA, which is a similar product but you can't put as much money in for first-time buyers, you have to have held a LISA for a year before you can use it to buy your first house.
Oh, I see, OK.
So my point is you can put £1 in Skipton, So put £1 in Skipton. I mean, if you're looking to properly save, go and put the real money in. But even if you're not looking to buy a first-time house now, put £1 in Skipton now, and then tick-tock, tick. That clock is ticking. And then let's say next year you suddenly decide you want to buy a house, and you shove £4 in it, the maximum for the year, and you can buy straight away because you've held it for a year.
What if you have it for 15 years and you never buy a house?
Well, you've lost the £1.
Oh, OK. No, but what if you put more money in there?
Because you can withdraw it with a 9% penalty.
So you can, but there is a penalty on it.
So you lose 6%. If you never buy, or you could keep it until retirement and get the money, or you can take it out and lose 6%. So I'm gambling with sixpence on the nation's behalf here, saying put your £1 in now. You can always withdraw 94p later. I reckon the 6p is worth a gamble in case you want to buy a house.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Get £1 in just to trigger the opening. Even if you're planning to save properly, put
very quickly. Are you then saying that it's better than a pension for retirement savings?
No, I'm not. I mean, pension gives you effectively 25% back the way it works. That's complicated to explain why. As a basic rate taxpayer, 66 as a higher rate taxpayer. If you're an employer, your company matches it. The only people who a LISA is as good as a pension for financially is self-employed basic rate taxpayers, and even then it can risk eating up your benefits allowance, which a pension doesn't do. Read the website on that. It's complicated, but generally I'm not that big a fan of using it for your pension. For most people, some it could work for, whereas for a first-time buyer, no-brainer.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you very much.